Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I am joined today by my two friends, Dr. Robert Ciprian and Rebecca Satori. I feel like we've been on a lot lately. Thanks for coming back and joining us for this live, guys. Guys and gals. We were just talking about how this is a holiday, holiday weekend, and there's lots of parties going on, and I've been having fireworks go off like the last couple of nights, and some of them like have scared me. They're just like boom, like crazy fireworks. So people are already celebrating, which is wonderful. How is it where you are, Rebecca, in Maryland?
I haven't seen any fireworks. Now Here we are in true style with a big fat rainstorm right before our show. Nice. So it's all good.
No fireworks in Miami. No fireworks yet in Miami, but the holiday traffic is definitely here. I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's up everywhere right now. It's just people are going out and they're celebrating. Good for them. It's good to be able to be with your friends and family right now and celebrate what freedom we have at the moment and what we're looking forward to. Which actually brings us to one of our first topics today. Excuse me, I'm getting a little bit of a cold, so I have a scratchy throat. But relationships, I think, is an important topic that we wanted to start with. Hi, Shannon. We wanted to talk today and get everything started with some conversation about relationships, because I think that this is one of the most important, but also the most difficult things to navigate right now, because of the pandemic and just the ascension. And for so many reasons, people are trying to figure out who their tribe is, and boundaries are really important right now, and finding those people in your life that represent, your healing and those coming into your life for your highest good. But also the hardest part is letting go of people, friends, and even family members that are not serving your highest good and are actually challenging you and making it more difficult for you to navigate your journey. So we wanted to kind of start the conversation with that tonight. But I just want to say hi to people that are in the chat right now. Hi, Paul. Hi, Shannon, and everyone watching that hasn't commented yet. We appreciate you joining us today on a holiday weekend. And so let me just start with Rebecca tonight. So Rebecca, how are you doing? And let us know what your thoughts are on relationships.
Okay, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. It's great to be here with you guys. This is definitely one of my favorite topics. So I've studied nonviolent communication and all about different relationship things. I've had so many different unique relationship dynamics over the years. And I talk a lot as a business coach too about the relationships that you have with your clients as well. And so I believe we do teach people how to treat us. And sometimes we have dynamics in relationships where you can ask someone. So Marshall Rosenberg, who is the creator of nonviolent communication, he talks about, out of what foundation do you want someone to respond, which I love because it gives everyone autonomy. And so you can ask someone, are you willing to, and then say what your boundary is. But if they're not willing to do that, or they're not on that level of consciousness, then it's up to you to do what I would consider self-love and create a loving boundary. It doesn't mean you can't love that person and care for that person. It doesn't mean you start creating conditions, because I think that's something that we are ascending into, which is unconditional love. And a lot of people have A, never experienced it, and B, have no clue even to begin with what that looks like, feels like, whatever. And as a parent, the fastest way to tap in, tune into that is, the second a baby is born, your baby or a niece or a nephew, people just naturally gravitate towards young children. And that is what I believe is the energy of unconditional love. So it doesn't mean that you have to create conditions. And I think that's where people get confused. This is kind of a discernment, like a revelation that I had recently in working with a client. And it's that you would just create boundaries. And so what does that look like? That could look like you have someone in your life who's a narcissist, or someone in your life who's unwilling to honor your boundaries, and you have to disengage. And if you don't, at some point it comes what I tend to call a form of self-abuse. So it's really important to, again, knowing yourself deeply and then having the courage to speak up and advocate for yourself in the same way that you would advocate for your own child or a child in general, for them to be treated with utmost respect and love.
I agree. Absolutely. What are your thoughts, Robert?
Oh man. Any relationship is the most direct and intense way to have all your junk mirrored back to you. And I've experienced plenty of that in my life, good and bad, but I've learned over the years to really step back and kind of look at the bigger picture, look at the macroscopic view to really see what's going on. And if the relationship is actually serving both of you, or if it's not, and like Rebecca's talking about, you got to create boundaries, you got to step back, you got to try to change things. And you can never expect anybody to change. Sometimes they will, and that's great, but sometimes people don't change. Everyone has their own free will. So yeah, relationships are the quickest, most direct way to kind of learn about your stuff that needs to be healed, because they'll be mirrored back to you. And relationships could be the most beautiful thing, the most spiritual thing, facing the planet, or it could be hell. It could be torture. It could be, devastating. So it's just what we're given in life, and just got to see, okay, this relationship I have right in front of me, what is this about? And should I continue in this? Should I not continue in this? And just see where it goes.
Yes. Before we continue, I'll give you my thoughts on this, but anybody watching this right now, the purpose of this evening also is to get questions from the audience. So if there's anything that you're really challenged with right now with regard to pretty much any topic you want to ask, minus politics, predictive dates, and things like that, then we would be happy to share our wisdom with you and try to help anybody through any challenges that they're working through with regard to, health, wellness, animals. I always like to talk about animals and children. So if you have questions about your children, about star seeds, about 3D interference, anything like that, feel free to let us know what your questions are, because we want to help you guys the most we can. And we can do that if we know what kind of the direction that you want us to go. But we wanted to start with relationships this evening. So put your questions in the chat. We'll see them. And then we'll try to deep dive into those, and all giving our unique perspectives. But as relationships, I think, part of being a human being, I think one of the most challenging things is to learn how to relate to other people, because we have this narcissist within all of us called the ego, and it serves its purpose. I think we all need that ego for survival. It's that primal aspect of ourselves that I think it's very necessary. But sometimes we need to learn to put it in check, because sometimes we feel like we are the center of gravity. And it's really hard to navigate through a world where we recognize that other people are just as valid as we are, and they have their own experiences. And sometimes, we're not always right. And I think that when we're children, we tend to feel like we are the center of the universe, as we should. So when I look at the world through the eyes of a child that I'm working with, their reality is very valid to them, because that's how it is for them. They are young and they are trying to figure things out. But as we grow, we start to realize that other people are around us, and we can affect them with our words, our actions, our thoughts, and our energy. And so we have to start thinking about how we affect other people, and is it in a positive or a negative way? And then we navigate our relationships, and that's how we learn. So the challenges are good part of our growth. And so I think that it's a delicate topic right now. And then when you throw in this divide amongst the community for obvious reasons, that is making it even more challenging, because people are really seeing a clear divide within their families. And I think that it's more common right now to have divided families than any other time, probably, and ever before, as a result of this ascension and the politics and all of those things. People are being forced to kind of to choose a side. And I think that's part of the 3D agenda. I think that's what they want. is us to fight. So if they can't use religion anymore, they're going to find something else to divide us. And relationships is paramount, because if we're fighting with each other, then it keeps the loosh going. It keeps the 3D interference going. If we get along and we learn from one another, then we have nothing to fight about. And so it's all about perspective. I think right now the best thing we can do as adults is redirect our energy and the way we process and navigate through this time, and think and just be mindful about other people's thoughts and how we are affecting them through this shift. But also putting yourself first, and boundaries are important. So if there is a parent in your life, a sibling in your life, a partner in your life, a friend, whatever, that is not serving your highest good, and they are triggering you in a way that you can't heal from right now. Maybe they need to trigger you, but you're not ready for it. Perhaps you just need to create boundaries so that you can have that time and space to heal. And so I always say it's not bye forever. It's just bye for right now. I'm going to say that over and over. Just because you're distancing yourself from your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, friend, whatever, doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. It just means that the two of you, sometimes in order to heal, you need to separate yourself from certain people, so that when you come back together, both of you have a better perspective, and you can see the other person and the journey and all the choices that they made. And it's not always about you. And we can put we could shift that center of gravity. And so Libby had a great question in the chat, and she's asking about her relationship with her guides, which is that's a whole other level of relationships that we're talking about. We have personal relationships in the physical, but then we also have our relationships with our spirit guides that we can't necessarily see, but we sense are there. And there are people that don't believe that there are spirit guides. So Rebecca, what are your thoughts? What are your recommendations to Libby about developing a deeper relationship with her spirit guides?
Well, number one is just to be quiet, to be still and to be quiet. That's generally where you're going to make those kinds of connections, and also honor what's true for you. So I don't necessarily have what I would call, we all have guides, of course, right? But that's not where I get my higher spiritual connection from. So you have to find what those openings and those channels are for you. I know, Robert, you probably have more to say on this topic too, but definitely everyone gets messages in different ways and has a connection with whatever you call a higher power or a guide or guardian angels, archangels, all of it. And there are these channels from which those connections are made. And so I think it's again coming back to you and what really works for you, what resonates for you, because for each person it's completely different. Like this one reader that I go to in Florida, she cracks me up. She's like, if I go bra shopping, I ask for a bra shopping angel. She has an angel for everything. And that's what works for her. So for me, I tend to get what I would call a knowing. I'll hear a voice or I'll hear a message. And I know a lot of times, most of the time, if not all the time, when I'm teaching or training or speaking, I'm channeling information. Whatever you want to label from where that comes is individual to each person. So cultivating that relationship, just in general, any relationship requires time and energy and attention. And so that would be what I would say to do as a first step.
Great advice. I love all of that. What about you, Robert?
There are so many ways to build relationships and communicate with your guides. It was funny, just Saturday night, I was talking to a friend who's moving out of town soon. I'm like, we have to get together. We have to talk. She's like, okay, well, I was supposed to go to dinner with someone tonight, and now it's starting to rain, and I don't know. And I'm like, oh, look, our text is 11:11. She goes, oh, wow, okay. Then she's like, oh, maybe we'll hang out. And I'm like, well, look, our text is 3:33. She goes, okay, I'm canceling dinner. We're hanging out. There's something going on here. So she was like, all right, that's telling me we need to talk tonight, like something's going on. So little things like that, just be grateful and realize there's something coming through. For me, like Rebecca says, for me, it's always a knowing. I have a knowing, just a feeling that I know what a message is or if I should do something. Some people get audible. Some people see visual. Some people get signs from nature, maybe birds or different animals or the weather. There's so many ways to connect. But when you know that connection and communication is coming through, the best way to improve it is just have gratitude every time, and it builds and builds and builds, and it opens that channel stronger and stronger. Gratitude just opens the door to more of what you're grateful for. So yeah.
I love that, because the signs are important. I think that oftentimes we miss the signs, and perhaps all of those signs wouldn't have worked the other night, and then you guys wouldn't have had your dinner, and then the universe would have conspired even harder to get you together in another way. And it happens all the time. So I always try to listen when I'm so glad that you decided, okay, we're just going to get together. And that was what the universe needed right now. That's what your higher selves were conspiring to get you together. Whatever the reason, like Rebecca said, we don't know sometimes if it's our guides or if it's our intuition, our higher self, or it's your oversoul group that's trying to navigate you together in some way. I think it's just being open. And I think if we just have the intention that we are open and we are willing to communicate for our high, I always say, listen, this should be your golden rule about everything moving forward. And this is something I live by, and I do it every single day without fail. I always say, whatever it is that I'm attracting, manifesting, whatever word you want to use, because there's lots of different ways to say things, but they all mean the same thing. People just get hung up on words. Is whatever it is, as long as it's for my highest good. Because then that's going to just, it really eliminates anything else. So if you're looking to have a relationship, you want somebody to walk into your life that is in alignment with you and your thoughts and where you're going with your life, whether this is a romantic relationship or maybe a friendship, then what I coach my clients is to say that you are open and willing to receive this relationship or friendship as long as they are in alignment with your highest good. And so it is. And then that's what you leave it at. And so same thing goes with your communication with your guides. I'm open to receiving messages, signs, communication from my guides and my higher self, so long as it's for my highest good. Because remember, there is 3D interference. There is something called voice of God technology. It's a very real thing. I talked about it in my book, which, by the way, is going to come out within like a week. So I'm super excited about that. And I talk about the voice of God technology. It exists. It's a very real thing. There are signals that are coming through satellites, EMFs, all sorts of technology, different ways that are emitting frequencies, negative bands of energy that are convincing people anything that they don't want to hear, that they are not good enough, that they don't deserve love, that they should be a man or I should be a female, and completely confusing people. It's really messing with a lot of people. It's making people feel depressed and have heightened anxiety, completely confused. And they are just signals that are being emitted into the atmosphere 24/7, 7 days a week, all the time, all around the world. And if your frequency matches the resonance, then you will pick it up and you will think it's your own thoughts. So we want to continuously say that our intention is to bring in signs, experiences, messages, information that is for our highest good only. You just reiterate that like you are a broken record, and you will shift the frequency, and you won't be able to align with that energy, and you won't hear it. Even if it's subliminal, you won't be able to pick it up. So that's my biggest advice, is to just shift your frequency. What do you guys think? Rebecca, have you heard of people talking about that before? Picking up on weird feelings or knowings that they're like, I don't think this is my own.
Oh, 100%. I have that often myself.
Yeah.
So it is. It's important to, like we talked about on our previous show, just about drinking lots of water and eating, healthy foods. I heard something recently about people saying you should eat more foods that are receiving light. So, this is a great time of the year for fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, stuff that's receiving light codes. And so just paying attention to your own frequency. And then I will say this is a caveat to this. This doesn't mean that you get to blame the frequencies either, right? It's because I can see where people may tend to do that, where it's like, oh, it's bad astrology today, or it's, bad frequency interference today. Yeah. This does not excuse you from taking full responsibility for your life, your energy, how you're showing up in the world with that energy. So it's paying attention and doing inquiry, And then taking breaks. We need to take a lot of breaks right now with everything that's going on, all of the different energies that are intensified, good and bad, for lack of a better term. I don't like labeling stuff like that, but and taking time to just get back into that higher energy frequency, paying attention to where you're at. So going back and reconnecting with your highest self, reconnecting with that higher frequency version of yourself. And sometimes that might be something as simple as just writing down, what are you thinking? And then asking yourself, are these even my thoughts? A lot of times we're repeating thoughts and self-talk, nasty things towards ourselves, and it's repeating someone else's programming that didn't serve them either.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. That's the number one thing is, are these even my emotions? Is this my sadness? Is this my anger? A lot of times you're picking up on anger of people that are around you. When my daughter has anxiety, I'm like, man, she's probably picking up on my anxiety. It's not even her own. And we do this all the time, especially empaths, which I think most people watching this that are attracted to this type of conversation, you're empaths. And you're sensitive to the energy, and you're not sure if it's even yours. But we have a great question here. Sometimes you get stuck in life situations. How do we shift the frequency? This is a great question. I definitely have a lot to say on that, but I'm gonna have Robert talk about this one first. What's your advice for that?
All right. So continuing what Rebecca was just talking about, first of all, if you're stuck, ask, all right, am I stuck because of me, or is it the collective energy? Is it some other energy? Like, ask yourself what this is about, Now, if you feel it's you, like, yeah, I'm stuck because of my own life, whatever, my emotions, my experiences, my beliefs, decide what you do want, probably the exact 180-degree opposite of how you're feeling stuck, and just feel, I have this already. I am worthy of this. I am supported by the universe. The universe is out to help me in every way possible. Just focus everything toward what you do desire, and just be stubborn and stick with it.
Yes.
Just be like, no, I'm not taking this, this roadblock for an answer. I am going to go above this. I am going to increase my energy, and the universe is conspiring to help me here. Just kind of, you got to find your own affirmations, your own verbiage, your own feelings, and just find whatever works for you, because, we're on this spectrum. There's so many different things to help people. You got to see what resonates for you and for you in the moment, because tomorrow it might be a different tool that you use to really inspire yourself. So yeah, just decide what you do want and get your feelings that you have it already. Because if you have a desire for something, there's already a way to get it. The universe would never give you a desire unless there was already a way to get there already. Just consider you're there already and just stay on that path.
Absolutely. I love that. I mean, a desire is just a light switch in our soul that just comes on, and it wouldn't come on if it wasn't a signal trying to get your attention. But sometimes our life situations are trying to teach us something. And if we continue to have it, what I usually ask is, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? I always say, okay, what are you trying to teach me? And I try to open myself up to receiving the answer. And it may not come right away, but it comes in different forms. And just like what we were speaking about earlier and what Rebecca said, listen, be quiet and listen for the answer, because it'll come in different ways. It might be a song that comes on, or it might be a dream that you have, or it might be a friend that says something and you're like, what did you just say? Like, that happens to me all the time. I'm like, whoa. And they don't realize what they said, but it's so relevant for you. But it's all about, figuring out, discerning what the lesson is. Like, what is what do I need to learn from this situation? And then the second thing is, okay, shifting your mindset and the way you think about it is the second. Because as soon as we stop thinking that something is wrong with us, or why am I being punished, or I have many clients that say that their family is cursed, or like Rebecca just said, saying that, using the excuse of, oh, that's voice of God technology. Oh, that, we do have to take responsibility sometimes too, which is, I recognize that. It's all about saying, okay, I'm not sure what it is perhaps right now, but I am done with it. And you shift your thoughts about it, and exactly what Robert just said. Then you start to think about, okay, what path do I want to create now? and you start to focus only on that. So you don't even think about the situation you're in anymore. That's done. I'm not even thinking about it. Don't care about it. I'm not even going to put my energy there. I'm going to put all of my energy in this direction, and it's going to get me out of this situation. And I'm only going to think about, and I'm only going to focus on, and I'm only going to dream about, and I'm only going to talk about what I want to do that's that over there. And I'm going to do everything I can to get towards it. And sometimes just from you being, even feeling like you're distracting yourself with something else, you'll start to feel nudges and things start to shift, where that Groundhog's Day might suddenly feel like, oh, wait, that's different. That's not how it's been the last couple of times. And then you'll slowly get momentum. Next thing you know, it's like riding a bike and you're like, wow, like, how did I get over here? And you found your way out of it. So we have to shift our thoughts, because we can sometimes be our biggest limitation. We can create our own roadblocks without even realizing it, because we focus all of our energy on, why is this happening to me? Thinking about everything that's happening in that moment, replaying it in your mind. And we have to stop doing that altogether and just say, nope, I'm putting all of my energy and focusing on redirecting. How do I redirect this? And a lot of the things that I say, if not all, are things that I do. And I live by all of this stuff, and I've tried it. And, these things work for me, but we can all give you our advice, and then you try it and then see if it works for you. And I know, Babuti, hi. She's a friend of mine. So thanks for giving that question. Rebecca, what do you think about that?
Yeah, this is a great question. So the first things that come to me are change and gratitude. So we can have gratitude in any circumstance at any time for any reason. And it doesn't have to be major. It can be simple. I remember when I first started my business and I wasn't really making any money, I would go sit outside and just look at nature and notice the abundance of nature. So it's paying attention to that so it will grow. And then, if we really believe that we are the creator of everything in our lives, even on a soul level. So sometimes you might think, what do you mean? There's no way I would have created this circumstance. This is like the pits of hell, right? But on some level, your soul created that. So on another one of these that we did, one of these shows we did, I said, people believe things are happening to you, for you, or the advanced level is because of you. Mm. And so if you really believe you're the creator or the co-creator of your reality, then on some level, you ended up manufacturing the current circumstances that you're in. And again, you can mine for gold in the most dire of circumstances. And I wrote an article about this in the beginning of my business, because years ago, I've been doing this for 13 years now. And even before I started my business, I was going through very, very difficult times in a very dysfunctional marriage, 2 really young kids. And I spent, I don't know how many nights bawling my eyes out on the cold tile bathroom floor. And I wrote an article shortly after I started my business in the beginning of 2013 called The Luxury of Crying. Because at the time I was a stay-at-home mom. And I've also had periods of time in my life as a single mom and the only person bringing in money in my family with my 2 sons. And there were times where I did not have the luxury of crying because I had to get up. Not that I didn't allow a space for my feelings, but I had more responsibility. And at that time in my life, even though I was in a miserable, dysfunctional marriage, I still was not having to earn the money because we had an agreement that I was staying at home and raising our young sons at the time. So if you just do one little perception change, you can start seeing things through a completely different lens. And when you move into the energy of gratitude, everything gets to change. And I always say that your greatest adversaries are your greatest mentors. And so when you see through that lens, you can look at these people that have wreaked havoc in your life and bow at their feet and say, thank you, because I wouldn't have become who I am today without you in my life as the adversary.
100%. That gets back to sacred contracts. We have people in our life that signed up to play roles, and we can't turn around and get mad at them for doing what we asked them to do on a soul level. We forget when we come here, we forget, oh man, I signed up to have a really awful mom or a really awful dad or this or that. They're playing roles for our learning. And that's really, really challenging to recognize and accept. and people get mad when we talk about those things. And I was that person that got mad and said, no, that I don't believe that I would sign up for that. That's not true. Why would I? Then why would anybody sign up for their child getting sick? Or, like I was that person asking the same questions. And no matter what somebody said to me, I was like, I don't like it. I don't like your answer. I'm not listening. That's wrong. I've been that on defense before. And it's really challenging to be able to look at things in that different way. So I get the challenge for everybody, because I think all three of us have I know all three of us have been there, and we have just, we've been in that fight or flight response. So, which is why the three of us are here now doing what we can to help other people navigate through the challenges. Not that any of us have figured it all out and we have no problems, because we're all evolving. There's no such thing as perfect. We're all learning as we go. And I think that's great. That's what makes us humans. That's what makes souls advance in consciousness, is our thirst for more. We want more. We want to learn more. We never know everything. And so that's why we're here. But at least what we could do is take what we've learned so far to help others that are struggling, which is why we're doing this retreat that's coming up in I don't know, a week and a half now. I mean, I don't even know what day it is right now, but it's soon. It's like next week. Rebecca, do you want to tell everybody about our retreat that we're having on the 11th of July?
Yes. So we have a retreat coming up at the Caroline Miami Wellness Resort next Tuesday, July 11th, and we've still got some tickets left. So if you feel called to come, jump on it. And it's called Divine Mastery, Living from the Power of Your True Purpose. So a lot of what you've heard us talk about in the past couple of shows that we've done, these are just surface topics we'll be diving deeper into, but this is what we're calling this a multi-dimensional experience. So you're going to come as you are and leave as you've never been. And we're going to really create a transformational experience for you and on multiple levels. Sherri mentioned bringing some sound healing equipment and stuff like that. And you're going to be there with your other people that you're divinely meant to meet. And you may end up having a lifelong relationship with them. I still keep in touch with people that I've been in retreats with from 2007, actually. So it's just a really incredible experience. And if you're really at this point where you've been like, I've gone through so much over the past 3 years, and you're ready to just get into divine alignment and really uncover your true life mission, your true life purpose, and get into greater alignment with that and get a clear action plan of how to embody that and to bring it into the world, then this is definitely something you do not want to miss.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. And if anybody is able to travel, there's still some time to get your ticket and come down and hang out with it. I mean, it's like a hangout for the day. We'll teach some stuff, but really we're going to get to hang out and have a good time together. And like I said, I'm going to dust the sound bowls off and take them out of storage since I moved, which I'm excited because I used to use them a lot. And I haven't had them for almost a year now. So I'm going to bring them out and we'll just hang out with each other and get to know one another in a really profound way. And I haven't met Robert yet in person, so I'm excited to actually get to meet you in person. What are you excited about, Robert?
I'm excited about having fun. I love just get-togethers like this because when people are really into it, I mean, everyone has a lot of fun. Yeah, there could be, a lot of seriousness going on. There could actually be a lot of, crying and pain going on, but altogether it just turns out that everyone just has an experience that expands who they are and changes who they are. And like I think people like us and who also are going to be coming to the retreat, they get that and they love that in life. It's like a gift, it's like a holiday, it's like a celebration from the inside out. That's what I love about it. That's what I'm looking forward to with this. And Sherri, I got a question for you, something we were talking about earlier, because I know you work with animals so much, and maybe at the retreat, you're going to talk about some stuff with animals too. Earlier, we were talking about like feeling like trying to shift our energies and what you're feeling and see going on, but how does people's pets, how do they react sometimes when someone has energy issues and it starts having an effect or the pet starts behaving in a certain way? Can you talk a little bit about that? I'm sure a lot of people want to hear about that.
Yeah, that is an exceptional question that would take a long time to answer. I could do a whole presentation on just that. And I think I wrote like 5 pages on that in the book, but I will give you my synopsis. Basically, our pets are our mirrors as well. And they come into our life to help us heal and to help us go through certain periods of their life. They are literally souls that we know from other outside of this time and space. Let's just say that come in as our friends, and they will come in. They are truly sacred contracts, and they will pinpoint exactly when we need them, when we need their assistance for X amount of time. So they might be short contracts for 1 year, they might be 10 years, they might be 15, 20 years. All of it is designed ahead of time. And they are evolved beings just like we are. They are not at the bottom of the pyramid. They are not unevolved souls. They are not being punished. They are not working their way up to human. Those are all misconceptions that I will go into more in my presentation. I can talk about that. But they are energy absorbers. So they actually will take on illness. I do so many sessions with animals. I haven't done any recently because I'm focusing on children, but previously animals will come in and they will literally take our illness. So if we're not learning what we need to learn, an animal will come into our life and literally take on the cancer that we were about to get. They will take on an illness that we were about to get or that we have. And that's why, some dogs will get cancer the same time as their owner. They are trying their hardest to pull that energy out of us because they are healers, natural healers. So our animals will always find a way to touch us or to heal us in some way. Your dog will put their hand on your lap, your arm, something. They will roll up and snuggle with you on the couch. Cats will purr. Their purr has a frequency that can heal you. And the more they do it, the more that they can heal you. So our animals will literally absorb our energy. And so people, the best advice I could get without getting too long into this conversation is don't have any regrets and don't have any guilt. Your animals are doing this because they want to. So anybody that has guilt that their animal passed away or they did something wrong or they didn't do something right, that is not true. Your animals come into your life for specific purpose and they leave when the time is right. Even if it doesn't seem right to you in the moment, it's all part of the divine plan. And so the best thing we can do for our animals is to work on ourselves, because the better we are, then the better the companions they can be for us. And they don't have to work so hard to pull our anger, our anxiety, everything that we're holding in that we don't want to deal with, and we keep sweeping it under the rug. Our animal will come in and they will absorb it for us. They work tirelessly to lift up the rug, vacuum it out for us, put it back down. They do it for us every single day, and it's a lot of work for them. But they want to do that because they want to help us. But sometimes it's too much. So we can help our animals by sweeping up the rug ourselves and saying, all right, I'm going to get in there and clean this out myself so that they don't have to do that. There's a lot more to it than that. But our animals are sacred. They are sacred contracts. They're here to help us, to guide us, to love us, to teach us about unconditional love. And just we want to honor them and love them back as much as possible because they are our greatest friends, truly. Great question.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'll talk about animals in my presentation. I'll always find a way to talk about children and animals in any workshop, any retreat, any presentation I do, because I could just talk about them for hours because they really are the root of everything. And I'll explain why that is a little bit more in detail. But that was a great question for tonight. And I don't see any other questions in the chat or in the Facebook thing that I had opened. Do you guys have anything on your end showing up? No? Okay.
No, good right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I think this might be a good place to end it for this evening, unless you guys have any last minute things that you want to say. Rebecca, is there anything you want to say before we end for the evening?
Yeah, definitely. The one thing I was going to say is don't forget about the relationship with yourself. Because a lot of times people are just, when you hear that topic that we brought up at the beginning of this, you tend to think about your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your family, your extended family, your romantic relationships, your friendships, fill in the blank. We have a relationship with ourselves that is massively significant. We also have a relationship with money, and that's something that I'm going to be speaking on at this live event. So you'll definitely want to be there for that because we're going to massively transform your relationship with your money as well.
which
I can't wait.
a lot of us need that right now, don't we, huh?
I just can't wait to hear what you guys are going to be teaching about. I'm going to be glued to it.
You know, I think that that's the greatest compliment, and I love collaboration. I love hearing other people's their presentations as well, because I learn so much myself. And it doesn't matter if the three of us could all do a presentation on the exact same topic. Doesn't matter. We just pick a topic. We could all talk about it, and I guarantee you, we will say everything differently. And it will inspire people differently, and it will guide people in a different way, which is beautiful. That's why I don't understand competition. Don't understand why people are trying to be fighting with each other and claiming to have the only information that there is. It's not even possible. And so I value both of you and your expertise, your wisdom, just like I value everybody watching this, because anybody watching this right now can teach all of us something. We all have something to teach others, but it's the listening part that people have challenged with. It's listening and opening your heart up to learning something from somebody that you wouldn't expect. And that could be somebody that you pay to go see at a retreat or a presentation, or it could be somebody in the grocery store at the checkout aisle. You never know. So I just wanted to, Tim, let's see what Tim had to say. Love my pet, strong connection, and believe my rescue is a protective angel for me. Absolutely. And some of them are. So animals are not only souls like us that come in, that you probably know from other lifetimes, but they are also from the angelic realm, and they do come in and they will be complete service to you, and just love, pure love, unconditional love. That's all they're there for. So what else could we ask for? There's one more question. We'll do this one really quickly, and then we'll wrap it up, because I love Dolores Cannon, and I have a section in my book called non-player characters, and I do talk about this in my book that I'm about to release. So do you guys want to talk about this before I go? Do you guys have anything to say about Dolores Cannon and NPCs? Either one.
I don't know much about her, to tell you the truth.
Dolores Cannon, she's amazing. So Dolores Cannon is she's the founder of the QHHT hypnosis. She's incredible. She has, I don't know, like 17 books. I don't know how many books. She has a lot of books. I've read about 7 of them. And she just like me, she got a lot of her information through her sessions. And so NPCs, there's a lot of different types of NPCs, Shannon. That's the challenging part, to explain all of them. And so I'll do it really briefly, at least the ones I know about. So NPCs, what we call non-player characters, is just a term to explain people that are out in the world that are either clones, holograms, or they are people like everyone else walking around the street, but there's no soul in there because something, at some point they succumb to 3D interference. Their vibration was super low. They had cracks in their auric field, and some other being entity got in and took over, and they are no longer there. They are completely pushed out, and now some other being is living in there, and you will meet them every day on the street. They are the ones, when you look in their eyes, they have nothing there, no compassion, no empathy. There literally is nobody home, and you can tell. So there's different variations of NPCs. And so instead of explaining all the different types and how you can tell the difference, what I'll say to make it brief tonight is the best thing you can do is use your discernment, and you can tell whether or not they have a good or vibration that resonates with you, or they don't. If they have a good vibration and they're in resonance with yours, then you have an energy exchange and you facilitate a relationship, friendship, whatever it may be. If they don't, do not engage. Do not fight with these people. Do not interact with these people. Do not argue with these people. Do not do anything with these people if you can help it, because they are energy vampires, which Tim talked about. Is they will siphon your energy as loosh, whatever they're using it for, to keep themselves powered. You are their energy port, and they will connect to you to siphon your energy and or to try to take you over as well. So best thing to do is to keep your vibration high, go out in nature, listen to good, positive music, eat good food, connect with people that make you feel up and appreciate you, and really live your life in that way. And you won't see these beings. They won't be attracted to you in any way. And so, yes, they can be energy vampires. This is a great question, Shannon. and you open a can of worms that could take hours to explain. So I hope that made sense, because this is a topic, honestly, we could talk about at the retreat. You can ask me anything you want. We'll sit there for hours and we'll just talk about that at the end, because I can say a lot about that. But I think for now, I think that's probably good. Did you have anything that you wanted to add, Rebecca? I didn't ask you.
No, I thought you did a great job sharing about that. I'm familiar with Dolores's work, but not as in depth as you are.
Yeah. In my book, I list probably 20 plus things that I call 3D interference, that are things that are meant to mess with us, to bring our vibration down. That's the purpose of the book I just wrote, is what is against you? What are the things that are pulling you down in vibration? And I explain all of them, and I go into depth in how it works. And so that is one of them. NPCs is one of them. And so not your friends. Do not engage with those beings, I say. Just walk away. Well, it was a pleasure with you two tonight, having you guys on, and hopefully these questions that we've answered have helped you guys in some small way, some big way. And I hope to see some of you guys at the retreat next week. There's still time to get your tickets. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Rebecca. Her website, rebeccasatori.com, is down at the bottom. You can purchase your tickets through there, but you can also reach out with questions there as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining. It was nice seeing you guys tonight, and I hope all of you have a really safe 4th of July, and have fun with your family. Just take one day to just not think about any of this, not worry about anything, and just have a good time. And don't forget your pets. They get scared, so take care of them, because a lot of them really have a lot of anxiety with the fireworks. As I'm saying this right now, my dog just started barking in the background. That's what she's trying to say. All right, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you guys real soon. Bye.